The next technique is locked wing. With all of the techniques, they're done more or less for an attempt. Some of them, maybe the pushes, you allow them to make contact, but this is for a hammer lock. A hammer lock is something used to dislocate someone's shoulder and arm. Now, we don't want to wait until they're fully locked into it and everything's. So as soon as it starts to come up, that is of course when we want to move. I'm going to do the technique first, and then we'll talk about it. I'm going to step back here, claw. Okay. Thank you. Grab comes in. I'm going to stand here. He's going to grab. Now, from here, from standing straight ahead, I can't realistically grab his wrist. There are some people who try and grab the wrist and re-grab before it's reasonable for them to do so. If you just leave your arm against your body as you turn, the grabbing the wrist will happen automatically. So, from here, step straight back into your opponent. You always want to move through your opponent, not to your opponent. So you want to step between his legs and get all up in his business. I see some people who do this when stepping around, and I think to myself, that's okay, but why are you being so polite? We're not very polite. So when we step back, you want to step into your opponent, re-grab at this point. It's important to re-grab because we're going to need that arm to give it a yank to make them fling around. Elbow to the face. From this point, you're going to turn that elbow into a claw that pushes him back, a palm heel claw, pushing him in that direction. Part of this technique part of the reason for doing it is to get the whiplash action. We want to whip him back and then whip him forward. Also, by hitting him here, I'm checking off this hand. I've just nailed him in the face. His hand's probably going to go to the pain because hand follows the pain. Oh, the pain of it all. The claw is going to move back. It's putting him off balance. We're going to wrap around, left hand's going to wrap around. At this point, your right hand is really holding tight onto that wrist, onto his right wrist. We're going to shoot underneath the arm, and you're going to shoot into a forward bow as you're pulling. It's important that you pull. Shoot as he's coming around, and you're going to pull. Now, sometimes when you shoot the person around, they don't fly around quite so much, and they end up in this position. Let's turn around for just a second. They're ending up in this position, and I've heard people say, well, he's not really in a position. No, from here, they're not in a position to do the knee, so how do I fix that? From this position, the way you fix it, holding on, is you do this. This has now put him directly in line with my knee. Knee and push. So, depends on how much the uke flies around. It depends how compliant they are. It depends how much they weigh. It depends how big you are. But adding, when you step back here, shifting the elbow in front of you makes the person move about that much more, and sometimes that much makes a difference. So, person is going to grab. Of course, I should not offer it, but I'm going to step back and re-grab, elbow, claw, push back, reaching around. I am grabbing here, swinging. Right, as I step back, I've got him locked in place right here. Double palm heel. If you want to grab them and rip and pull, you can, but you want a double palm heel strike with the knee. Step in and push them out of the way. Beginning people, when they do this technique, here for a sec, they get up to this position, they get here, and then they go, and it's like, well, when did you get so nice? You really want to leave someone who attacked you right there in front of you? Unless your foot is on their head, you really don't want that to happen. So once you knee them, get up in their business, shove them out of the way. We really don't want to keep our opponents, once we're done with them, why keep them around? So let's try from this position just so we can see. He comes and grabs, I'm stepping back. You can see where I'm re-grabbing here. Elbow, claw, whiplash and pull. And stepping back. A lot of people forget that extra step back. I've got him locked in here. I'm holding on tight with the other hand. I've got a nice line, straight line to attack. Stepping through, shoving him away. Somebody'd like to add?
So after you do your last moment, you've got the person spun around and your knee is lined up. One of the things that we're doing is make sure you do let go, right? And this knee sandwich, the 2 heel palm strikes on the back. On this one, I've been telling people every so often to extend that shin out. So in essence, you're doing a front snap kick, but what's also in line with that shot there is the opponent's groin. So as you come in, boom, So kind of an extra added bonus there.
That one is for upper belts. That is not, just to be clear, that's not for the orange, that's not for getting orange belt. Those are for higher, that's for the upper belts to do. Base move here and push. For upper belts, things to play with. If you want to extend it out there, then by all means. But just so we're clear on what we're showing to lower belts, just the knee. The rest of the stuff, the wee knee, can be added later.